In the heart of Texas lies a treasure trove of history. The San Antonio missions stand as silent sentinels of a bygone era. They are living testaments to the blending of cultures. These missions tell a story of faith, courage, and cultural exchange. They represent a unique moment in American history, a time when Spanish and Native American worlds collided and merged. The missions were established in the early 18th century. They stretch along the San Antonio River. Each mission is a chapter in the story of Texas. UNESCO recognized the significance of these missions in 2015. They were designated as World Heritage Sites. This honor places them among the most important cultural landmarks in the world. The San Antonio missions are not just tourist attractions, they are living, breathing communities. The primary purpose of the missions was spiritual conversion. Spanish missionaries sought to bring Christianity to the native peoples. But the missions served many other functions as well. They were centers of cultural exchange. They were places where two worlds met and mingled. The missions were also economic hubs. They played a crucial role in the Spanish colonial system. At the missions, Native Americans learned new skills. They were taught European farming techniques and learned to work with livestock. The missions introduced new crops and technologies. This knowledge exchange went both ways. The Spanish learned from the native peoples as well. They gained knowledge of local plants and survival techniques. This mutual learning created a unique blend of cultures. The missions were self-sufficient communities. They had to be, as isolated outposts in a vast wilderness. Each mission had its own farms and workshops, producing everything from food to textiles. The missions were also centers of education. Native children learned to read and write in Spanish and were taught European music and art. The legacy of the missions is complex, representing both loss and gain. They are symbols of cultural transformation. Among the San Antonio missions, one stands out in popular memory. The Alamo is more than just a mission, it is a symbol of Texas independence. The Battle of the Alamo in 1836 captured the world's imagination. It became a rallying cry for Texan independence. The courage shown by the defenders has become legendary. Their sacrifice has echoed through the ages. The Alamo began life as Mission San Antonio de Valero, founded in 1718. For decades, it served as a typical mission, but its destiny would be far from typical. In the early 19th century, it was converted into a fortress and became a key site in the Texas Revolution. For 13 days, a small band of Texans held out against a much larger Mexican force. Their bravery inspired the Texan cause, and "Remember the Alamo" became a battle cry. Today, the Alamo stands as a shrine to Texas liberty, reminding us of the high cost of freedom. Concepcion and San Jose are architectural marvels. They showcase the best of Spanish colonial design. These missions have stood for centuries, weathering storms. Mission Concepcion's limestone walls have stood since 1731. Mission San Jose is the largest and known as the Queen of the Missions. Its rose window is a masterpiece of sculpture. These missions had defenses and water management systems, and life within the mission walls. Life in the missions was a blend of the sacred and the mundane. The day began and ended with prayer, but in between there was much work to be done. The missions were bustling communities, alive with activity from dawn to dusk. Everyone had a role to play, from the youngest child to the oldest elder. Farming was a central activity as the missions had to feed themselves. They grew crops both familiar and new, with corn, beans and squash as staples. The Spanish introduced wheat, grapes and olives. Livestock was also important, with cattle, sheep and goats grazing on mission lands. These animals provided food and materials, with hides used for leather and wool spun into cloth. Crafts and trades flourished within the mission walls, with blacksmiths, carpenters, weavers and potters. These skills were passed down through generations, blending European techniques with native traditions. The result was a unique material culture, with many crafts still practiced today. Education was a key part of mission life, with children learning to read and write in Spanish. They were taught the catechism and basic mathematics. Music was an important part of the curriculum, with many missions having choirs and orchestras. The missions were also centers of healthcare, with infirmaries where the sick were treated. Herbal remedies from both cultures were used. The missions thus served as centers of learning and healing. They were vibrant communities, blending the sacred and the practical. The legacy of life within the mission walls is a testament to resilience and adaptation. These communities were a unique blend of cultures, creating a rich and enduring heritage. Section 6. Preserving the past for future generations. The San Antonio missions are more than just historical sites. They are living links to our past. They teach us about cultural exchange and adaptation. They show us how different peoples can come together. The missions remind us of the complexities of history. They are not simple stories of good and evil. They are nuanced tales of human interaction. Preserving these sites is crucial, not just for maintaining buildings, but for keeping stories alive. Each stone, each fresco tells a tale, helping us understand who we are and where we came from. The missions are part of our shared heritage, belonging to all of humanity. The UNESCO World Heritage designation brings responsibilities and opportunities, drawing attention to these important sites. By preserving these sites, we preserve lessons of resilience, adaptation, and cooperation for future generations. We ensure that the story of the San Antonio missions will continue to inspire and educate for centuries to come.